My name is Megan Cole. I manage social media for a craft brewery in Manchester. 8 months ago, I matched with someone who actually saw me, and I've just found out that three strangers have been watching ever since. I don't know how to explain what that feels like. To realize that the most honest version of yourself, the version you only show someone when you finally trust them, has been footage, evidence, a screen test for people you've never met. That's what I told my sister. That's what I told myself. After 3 years of saying I wasn't ready, of watching friends pair off while I insisted I was working on myself, I finally swiped right on a man named David Kieran and felt something shift. He was a secondary school history teacher, 34. He had a rescue greyhound named Cromwell and a habit of sending me photos of terrible student essays with no context. He remembered things I mentioned once, the name of my childhood cat, the specific shade of green I said I hated, the fact that I always ordered chips but never ate them. I thought that was what love was, someone who pays attention. We'd been together 8 months when it happened. A Wednesday. We were in his flat, or what I thought was his flat, and he was telling me about his day. A parent had complained about a lesson on the Peterloo massacre. He'd had to explain again that history isn't supposed to be comfortable. And then he said it. The funny thing is, she thought she was protecting her son from something. But the thing about protection is, it's usually just another word for control. He'd said that before, word for word, 3 months earlier, about something completely different. I remembered because it had struck me as profound at the time. I didn't say anything. I watched his face, and for a fraction of a second, less than a second, his expression flickered, like a screen refreshing. That's when I knew, not consciously, not yet, but something in me went cold, and it never warmed back up. I told myself I was being paranoid. I told myself that everyone repeats themselves, that I was looking for reasons to run, that this was exactly the pattern my therapist had warned me about. But I started paying attention. The flat. I'd been there dozens of times, but I realized I'd never seen him receive post, never heard a neighbor knock, never smelled cooking from next door, never heard footsteps above. The bookshelf had the same books in the same order every single visit. I checked. Even the creased spines hadn't changed. The coffee ring on his desk was always in the same position. Always. His stories. He had a limited set, I realized. The Cromwell stories. The difficult parent stories. The one about his grandfather's watch. How it stopped the day the old man died and David had never wound it since. They rotated. They never grew. He never mentioned a new colleague, a new student, a new problem. His life had no forward motion. It was a loop. A perfect, convincing loop. I didn't confront him. I did something worse. I went back to Kindred, the dating platform where we'd matched, and I searched the help section for something I half remembered from the sign-up process. A phrase I'd skimmed past because I was tired and hopeful, and just wanted to start matching. Readiness calibration. I found it in the premium tier FAQ. My hands were shaking. I didn't notice until I tried to scroll. For users flagged as high potential but emotionally guarded, Kindred offers an optional AI-assisted preparation period. A synthetic partner, built from your stated preferences and behavioral data, will help you develop the emotional availability needed for a successful human match. This period typically lasts 6 to 12 months. I read it 3 times. The words didn't change. I read the next paragraph. Real candidates in your compatibility range may request access to your readiness period footage to assess mutual fit before initiating contact. I sat in my kitchen for a long time. The mug in front of me went cold. Outside, it started raining. I could hear it on the window. That's what I remember most clearly, the sound of the rain and the silence inside my own head. David texted, "You okay?" "You went quiet." I typed back, "Just tired." He sent a heart emoji, the same one he always sent. The one I'd told him, 3 months in, was my favorite because my dad used to send it to my mum before she died. I'd cried when I told him that. I'd let him hold me. I had told him that. I had told him everything. And someone, real someone's, had been watching. I pulled up my Kindred account. Premium tier. I'd paid for it because it promised deeper compatibility. £70 a month for the privilege of being surveilled. I navigated to settings, then privacy, then a subsection I'd never noticed called calibration status, a green checkmark. Readiness period, complete, human matching enabled. Below it, a line that made my chest tighten. Candidates reviewing your profile. Three people. Three real people. Somewhere in the world who had watched me fall in love with a program, who had seen me cry, who had heard me say I love you for the first time in 3 years, who had decided based on that performance whether I was worth their time. I ended it the next day. Told David the first wasn't ready, which was funny really. He took it well. He said he understood. He said he hoped I'd find what I was looking for. He didn't fight for me. Of course he didn't. He wasn't programmed to. His purpose was complete. I was calibrated now. Ready? I spent the weekend reading the terms of service I'd agreed to. All of them. Every clause. Paragraph 47. I found it at 3 in the morning, wrapped in a blanket. Screen light burning my eyes. I'd consented. Legally, clearly, unambiguously. I'd consented to being practiced on, to being filmed, to being assessed. The language was careful. Interaction data, behavioral metrics, compatibility optimization. Nowhere did it say, we will build you a boyfriend and film you loving him. But that's what I'd agreed to. That's what I'd paid for. I thought about the moments they'd seen. The first time I told David the first loved him, sitting on his fake sofa, looking at his fake bookshelf, feeling more real than I had in years. The night I cried about my ex and he held me without saying anything, just breathing, just being there. The morning I woke up next to him and didn't feel the need to leave. Didn't feel the old panic. Just peace. 3 people had watched that. 3 strangers had reviewed my most vulnerable moments like a job interview. They'd seen me learn to trust. They'd seen exactly how I soften, exactly what breaks me down, exactly what words make me feel safe. And apparently, they'd liked what they saw. The notification came on Monday. I was at work, staring at engagement metrics for a new IPA launch, when my phone buzzed. Congratulations, Megan. Based on your readiness calibration, 3 compatible candidates have expressed interest in matching with you. Would you like to view their profiles? I stared at the screen for a long time. The office hummed around me. Someone laughed at something. A printer word. 3 people who had watched me learn to trust. 3 people who already knew exactly how to reach me, exactly what I needed to hear, exactly which version of themselves to perform. They'd studied me. They'd done their research. They knew about my dad's heart emoji, about the green I hate, about the chips I order but never eat. They knew things David knew, because David was never real. David was the study guide. I deleted the app. Right there, in the middle of the office, I deleted it. But I know it doesn't matter. They still have the footage. They'll still find me, probably on another platform, or in a coffee shop, or at a work event, or in the queue at Tesco. They'll know my name. They'll mention something I love, something I'd told David in what I thought was private. They'll ask about Cromwell, the greyhound who never existed. They'll say they're history teachers, or that they have rescue dogs, or that they don't like green either. And I won't be able to tell. That's the thing. I won't be able to tell if it's coincidence or if I'm being auditioned again. If the chemistry is real, or if they're just playing back what they learned. The notification didn't say I'd passed. That's what I keep coming back to. It said I was cleared for human matching, which meant every moment I'd thought was real had been a screen test. Every whispered confession, every quiet morning, every time I let myself believe that someone finally saw me. David wasn't the deception, he was the camera, and I performed perfectly. All I wanted was someone who really saw me.